doing stuff with other people. Our micro-analysis is not about me, it's not about myself. It's about interpersonal connections with other people. It's about small group dynamics and things like trying to understand symbols and language, and it's about how we're socialized and what TV, the impact that TV has on us and so forth. So there's micro-analysis. Macro-analysis looks at things like power dynamics between groups. It looks at social institutions and phenomena such as poverty and war and religion and those kinds of things. Now, my sense is that a part of the problem that we have with, and I'm not just going to say this is about Trump or about Trump supporters, but I'm going to say this is about all of us, that some of the problems that we have is our inability to move throughout a concentric circle where the self is in the middle. A lot of times we say if it doesn't affect me, then it does not matter. If I'm not harmed by it, if I am somehow not affected by it, if I would never get an abortion, or if I don't care about minimum wage, then somehow then it's not my concern. Outside of that little small, like very selfish and self-centered perspective is the microanalysis. Not the microanalysis, not the self. It is about how the self interacts with the community, with the family. Just basic understanding of symbols and so forth. And so I am going to ask you to use or to develop, to enhance your critical eye. And I do mean the I, the you that's standing here, but also this I here. I am going to ask you to use it to ask the question, in what way do my beliefs, my choices impact the people in my community, in my family? I am going to ask you to relate to other human beings in your community and in your family in a way that affects the broader society, that concentric circle that goes out from the self, the family, the community, the society, and on to the rest of the world. I'm going to ask you to think critically in the macro perspective about the various institutions and dynamics of power that have a significant impact on those of us in your local community. But more than anything, I'm going to ask you to never, under any circumstances, to stop fighting for freedom.
Woo!
Do not rest until that freedom comes. I'm telling you, sociology is really, I mean, it's intense, but it's really not that deep when you think about the fact that you are just one, just tiny little person who occupies just this little teeny tiny space on this globe in a very particular time frame, in a very particular region, history, race, religion. I mean, you're just a little teeny tiny speck. And if you can begin to think critically about the I that is here and the I that is here, and really begin to say, this isn't about me. This is not about me. I'm telling you, it gets real easy. Your feet start moving. It gets real easy to say, oh my gosh, this is really not about me. And I'm telling you, I don't know how many folks were at the Methodist Church last week when we did the Martin Luther King celebration. But if you were not there, you got to go back and check out his speech called The Drum Major Instinct. And I'll end with that. I'm not going to recite the speech, I did it last week. But the drum major instinct, y'all, have you ever seen the, a marching band? And you know that person out front with the big hat and the baton and that person. Okay, so that's the drum major. And Dr. King says that we all have a drum major instinct, and we all have this desire to be out front, to be first. And he says, you know what? Well, that's all right. You ought to want to be out front. You ought to want to be important, feel really significant, but you need to do so with love and with service to other people. So again, I'm asking you to think critically about your space, the space you occupy in the world, but also how that impacts other people. There is really nothing, again, there's nothing really deep or intense about this message. It's just a matter of coming from a place in your heart, somewhere inside yourself, that is not so self-serving and self-centered. We don't have the luxury at this point to think only about ourselves.
Thank you.
With that said, if you are comfortable in doing so, if you feel safe in doing so, introduce yourself to someone, offer a hug to someone. I would love to see that, and my arms are open wide. I got hugs for all of you.
Yes! Woo, I say!